Good evening, welcome back to In the Khud. This is 11th October 2022, 7:43 p.m. So, we're early today, which is a good thing. I haven't even made a Notion toggle for today. It's supposed to be vlog 78, 11th October, which goes to show the extent of how little I have to document in this session. I'll just briefly go through how the day was though. I woke up at 7. The usual alarms went off, but I don't know, like after a few days it's a recurring pattern I'm seeing now that I document very avidly. After a couple days or after 3 days, when I wake up at my normal time, like 5:36, I have massive headaches, which like subconsciously my mind is like, just go to sleep. So at 7 o'clock I heard the door get closed because dad took Snowy down. I'm supposed to take him down. That's when light went off, like, oh my god, I should have been doing that, but it's okay. Then I did my morning schedule and I was kind of confused, like what do I do, because 7 o'clock, do I not take the nap and just continue with the day, or what to do? I think in the morning while I was eating, I must have watched like some random Blender tutorials. Yeah, I did watch one video by this guy called, I think, Zebra Zone. He talks about AT, the Blackmagic ATEM something device with which you can press buttons and you're streaming, like you'll change cameras and stuff in real time. So I was just thinking it would be great if this In the Khud blog could just be a real time edit, like I'm pressing those buttons and these cameras which you see changing here, they're just changing by themselves without having the need to edit or anything. And it also gives you like capabilities to do color correction, sound processing, everything. So the entire In the Khud session could be just 5-minute constraint or 10-minute constraint, recording it, and that also gets edited. And because it's a live stream, it also gets uploaded. So that's like a 10-minute thing instead of it being a 1 hour thing, which it is right now. I would like to have a little control over editing things out and not keep everything live, especially in these raw documentation sessions, because sometimes I go on a spree and talk things which later in the edit I realize I should just remove that out. Yeah, that's what I did. Then I went back to sleep and then I woke up and started the regular storm of full-time job. And of course the first couple of hours or so I was working on the dad's work thing, the music cue sheet part, and I made a very simple auto hotkey script. I'm so glad that I figured this software out, that any sort of automation I can just do it. So something inside Google Chrome Forms where I just press G1, it acts as shift tab, I press G2, it acts as tab, and I press G3, it does a simple function where colons get added and the next tab automatically comes up, which is all very nice. I have to just get used to my muscle memory for logging music cue sheets into that format now. That was the first thing. Then secondly, there was again Tata AIG revisions. Shopflow, nothing, I'd rendered yesterday. Tata AIG revisions is what I worked on. And then one thing which I feel I can finally talk about as in documentation is there is this one video for a brand of Ranbir Kapoor saying something, and I do not know why they decided to shoot it with a grey background. It's the worst background to ever shoot on. If even you remotely try to like remove that or have intentions of removing that in post, never ever do that. Your editor will or whoever's working in the post is gonna curse you like crazy. But anyway, I'm trying to share a very simple workflow here. Let me just shut all these color keys. Okay, so this is what the original footage was, right? It's just shot on this gray kind of backdrop, and let me just show you what happens if we try doing a normal color key, like if it's a blue or green color key. If you try adding that, key light, color key is the solution. Key light, if I take this gray, look what it does. This is definitely not what we want. And you could maybe like play a little with, I don't know, the settings. Yeah, I think probably I should have played with the settings a bit. I don't quite understand these settings as much. Should be transparent. Okay, so what I see right now is it's kind of inverted. So if I can invert this, I mean, I'm sure you can play with these settings and make it look better. Like you first invert and then kill it. Okay, that's probably something that can be done. But regardless, I have a more workable workaround here which works. So we use a bunch of color keys, right? And we just color pick this section here and increase the tolerance. So this is what it does, it makes it transparent like this. And we try doing that throughout, because there will be places which will start coming into the subject as well. That's because the background is of the color which is a part of the skin tone itself and the shadows that come on the skin tone. So this part that you see which is going off is because there is this shadow which is coming on the face from the backdrop itself. So if you want to remove that backdrop's color, that will have to go. And I did like a couple for hair as well. Now once this is done, then I took the original video, I duplicated it, and then I drew a couple of masks on it to like fill up for the parts which were getting affected. Of course, if there are parts which are like flowing out or whatever, you can go frame by frame and refine it. And they did send me frames of, oh, this is not good. Bruh. I'm not going and doing like frame adjustments now, because whenever somebody's watching the video, they're just gonna focus on this hero's face. Oh my god, they're just gonna focus on the hero's face and not so much on these parts here. I mean, I could just fix that, but I said that this is the best that can be done, and you sometimes have to take that. Let me just check the door. Ranveer Kapoor is still speaking. What's up, man? So yeah, the mat that I had ordered for my office gym has arrived, so that'll be nice for today's session. Which brings me to the point, okay, I have covered this, right? You mask it and use color key. I also tried using Runway ML, but that did a terrible job with the outline and everything. Let me just show you. Yeah, so this is what Runway did. And like once this is done, you cannot. Runway is good with just like you make one click and it automatically uses machine learning to figure out what the outline everything should be, but you see these edges and everything. I felt like the color key method gave a much more kind of refined, like you can just see a little bit of that spilling on this side, and that, as I said, can be worked if we tweak the color key a little more and the mask accordingly, but it gets the job done. Like for a normal viewer, they are not gonna worry so much about it. Which brings me probably to a conclusion to this freestyle kind of documentation. Nothing as such very important or whatever. So one thing that I've been contemplating is I have to get back to taking my workouts seriously. I mean, for the past 1 year. No, so up until December, I was doing my gym well, but then the second wave or the third wave, I don't know which wave, came in January, around December, January, and then that's where I stopped. And then also we started taking Snowy down, so the entire morning session just started getting devoted to Snowy, and at the same time parallelly learning 3D in full-fledged started. So now that I won't ever say that I figured out 3D, but at least to the point that I can start, like I'm working on my own personal projects. I have to get my workout back on track. Currently what I'm doing is I just, after this session is done and I've edited and uploaded the video, I go down to my dad's office and do a bit of workout there. But that's a very temporary kind of thing. Like you see my physique, I wouldn't say at an all-time low. Bruh. I'm like still fit because I'm exercising every single day, but definitely not where I want my physique to be at. Like I'm gonna look at the mirror and be like, yes, this person works out or lives or whatever. And that comes not because I have this fantasy or anything. It's just that it's been so many years of working out and all this knowledge from Les Mills and experience with fitness. Like it's almost a shame if I don't put it all to practice and like work and sculpt my own physique out the way I want it to be. So I'm probably thinking of joining a gym which is at a 10-minute walking distance from here. The only thing I feel is it's a little bit cramped up, but we'll see how that goes. And that's pretty much how life is right now. Thanks so much for being in the Khud. I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.